This week, the Washington Post reported that immigrants held in ICE detention face growing exposure to dangerous heat. Dangerous heat can lead to heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and kidney disease. Immigrants held in ICE facilities face higher rates of exposure to extreme heat than people incarcerated and held in other federal, state, or county facilities in the U.S. The Post reports that as ICE deportations continue to expand, the average number of extreme heat days in ICE detention could rise to almost double what other incarcerated people in the U.S. experience. This report demonstrates inequality. Among those held in detention or prison, it is those held by ICE who are kept in far worse conditions than others held in prison in the U.S. Some would argue there are simple reasons to explain this disparity in dangerous heat exposure. Migrants enter at the southern border, so detention centers are more concentrated in the south and the southwest. These regions are far hotter than the rest of the country and are heating faster than the rest of the country due to climate change. So one could argue it's simply unfortunate for migrants that extreme heat is worsening and making conditions increasingly dangerous in detention facilities. This disparity, though, to heat exposure between migrants and other prisoners in the U.S., it shouldn't be viewed as an isolated incident. Instead, it should be viewed as one example of a case where climate change is exacerbating inequalities. Climate change is worsening extreme heat, and it is those with the least power and those least responsible for contributing to greenhouse gas emissions and thus causing climate change who are most affected. Climate change doesn't impact everyone equally. It hits hardest where people have the fewest choices, those detained, those living in isolated regions, and globally, communities that contributed the least to the crisis, from migrants here in the U.S. facing extreme heat to women in rural parts of sub-Saharan Africa who are walking further every year for water as their rivers and wells run dry. Extreme heat in ICE detention isn't an isolated story. It's part of a larger pattern. As the planet warms, the people with the least voice, the same people least responsible for causing climate change, are asked to bear the greatest cost.